Hey everybody, Juice here, your host of all the battle reports found at longwar.net, where we always keep it icy. Big special shout out and thanks to all our Long War vets. If you haven't already, stop what you're doing right now and go to longwar.net and become a veteran of the Long War today. We have a special 3-part series that is happening right now. We have got Kenny with his featured Chaos Space Marines list that can be found at thelongwar.net under the download section. Go there right now, check it out, see what you think. This is the Toys for Tots event, tournament style setting that we've been talking about and preaching about for a long time. We're bringing it here to you, edited down so you can get the full version of a tournament experience with 3 players back to back. All right, so I'm joined today by Robbie B, who is behind the mic and is going to do all the commentating with me here today. And then Kenny, we've got a special guest who is going to let us know in the breakdown of the games today. Kenny, where are we at?
Well, we've already rolled all our stuff. I'm trying to go first. We've done our psychic powers, and obviously we're entering the scout phase here.
And Kenny, real quick, I don't mean to keep cutting you off, and I know that's going to be a normal saying, but that's funny to hear that you want to go first against Eldar.
Yes, traditionally it's almost impossible to beat Eldar if you don't go first, but he has a warp hunter, and Rob B knows a lot about this warp hunter, and he's the one who let me know what was going on. It basically has a multiple barrage D small blast template.
Yeah, you got to watch out for this thing because it will wreck your face if you let it.
Its cover doesn't matter. Nothing matters except invisibility. It can take your HQs out, everything, you know. It is a problem, and so I need to go first to stop it from shooting the whole game and taking my stuff out.
And I see our boy Charlie, man, great guy, Charlie from Fayetteville area. And I see he did not seize the initiative on you.
No.
Yes, part 1 of my plan was has been attacked.
Yo, absolutely.
Part 1, opponent real bad.
Check. So also, I like to see the first model that you moved there is Bellicor. When he is in the list, is that an auto? Is that a must to do first?
Yes, I try to put him where I think I need to put him to intimidate my opponent, make him think about psychic shrieks. But also his shroud bubble is really important if I choose to use it, whereas invisibility has a 24-inch range, so it's almost arbitrary where he is in relation to the rest of my army at that moment. But yes, I like to move him first and think about it afterwards.
I like what you're doing here with the setting up the shroud aura area between Bellicor and your sorcerer up there right above the one Mauler Fiend, right where you see that circle at, and you start casting. You're basically, that gives you options, kind of like the hurricane maneuver, where you can basically, you can go counterclockwise or clockwise to engage, or go back to hold your objective, or kind of run in there.
Ooh, wow,
that's
was
some clutch psychics.
That was so ridiculous right there. He blocked both of them. Oh my goodness. So you were able to get your invisibility off, but both shrouds were denied. Wow.
Yes, and the thing that's interesting, like that Rob was saying about shroud, is I love them on the sorcerers because they can turbo boost 12 inches in their squad still. So like where they are does not always reflect where they're going to be if they get their shroud wear off. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Kenny, one thing that I would like to say is that people always hear us about preach about your list and the style of list that you bring to the table with so much speed. That is literally showcased right now. You are mid-board.
You're going east-west to him already. He's basically in a. You have 3/4 of the table in commanding position already.
Board control and speed are the way I like to play my Chaos armies, and obviously with combos are absolutely my favorite way to play 40k. And psychic powers is what keeps Chaos Space Marines, in my opinion, competitive if you play with the right combos.
I cringe when I see Bellicor standing right next to a Wraith Knight, because ask me how many times I've charged a Wraith Knight with Bellicor and got stomped out.
Oh my god!
All of them.
Every time.
So now, so I know you spoke about it a little bit, but he's got a lot of D between the artillery batteries and the Warp Hunter. He also has a lot of speed and maneuverability in his list. And obviously, because it's Eldar, a substantial amount of firepower. At this point in time, with both shrouds off, how do you feel?
Well, I did get lucky, and I was able to fish for Conqueror City warlord trait, so I do have stealth and ruins at the very least. And I did make that one spawn unit invisible, so he's immune. So that's with the warlord, so they're immune to the warp hunter's barrage. And I kept the other warlord at a range of the warp hunter's barrage. That's why I'm holding him way back in the corner back.
Oh, you periled on that.
He did.
So, and then real quick, just a little foreshadowing, and I know because a lot of people don't get a chance to play with him. He's got the Wraith Lord, the Avatar, right next to the Wraith Knight. Did you know, how good, potentially a little foreshadowing, how good he is in close combat?
Charlie is a stand-up guy. He gave me the intel and everything I needed to know so I wouldn't be caught by surprise. And he plays on an unconventional Eldar list, but with still some really nasty units, especially for me since I need to be in hand-to-hand. The Avatar is good at hand-to-hand, and the Warp Hunter is really good at taking out your Psychers and sniping them. So he has a pretty, actually good list versus me specifically.
I like that target priority right there because he knows he needs to get a template down, and the best place to put it is back there.
Now,
Yep.
Kenny, this is a little different. Now, why is this Mauler Fiend, the one that's not circled right now, the one in the building, why is he there?
He's there to ward off the outflanks. And let's talk about this Mauler Fiend right now. He just did 2 D results to that Mauler Fiend who has no cover save, except the demon
Oh, demon save.
save. So that was important. And also, Be'lakor staying in the air is important because I don't want to get double charged right there.
Okay.
No, that would be the end of Be'lakor.
But he does have multiple outflanking units with Warwalkers and other things. So I'm holding the Mauler Fiend, 125-point Mauler Fiend in the backfield to be able to go back real quick and take out some Warwalkers he has.
Well,
And
it looks like there's something missing from your list, too.
Oh, that Soul Grinder.
Soul Grinder. Marcus Slanesh Soul Grinder is always deep striking in See, Vanguard Strike is the hardest mission for me to play against Eldar, and you always have to deep strike the Soul Grinder in this.
But what you're saying is he didn't come in on turn 2.
He did not come in on turn 2, unfortunately. Just 1 unit occultist did.
All right.
So you're moving the cultist now, and you're still this is setting you off a little bit because you're normally liking to go second, so you can attack with that Mauler Fiend instead of being a little more defensive. So what is your game plan going into turn 2 like here?
Is going after that D battery and getting those Eldar jet bikes that got a really bad assault move roll. So I'm basically target prioritizing. I'm going to try to take out his Warlord and a D barrage battery, but also anytime you get an opportunity to take out jet bikes, you have to.
Hey, Kenny, I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't want to miss this. I saw you move a piece of terrain right there. Let's talk about it.
I'm trying to get the most accurate measurement on the assault for those spawn. So since we have a nice grid and we know where all the terrain is, I move it out of the way, show the total distance, subtract 12, have my opponent agree on what the result is, and then we put the terrain back.
Yo,
so
that is exactly what we preach about all the time. Do your pre-measure. It is allowed. Agree on an exact distance so it's down to a science instead of, oh, I just moved 13 inches and I shouldn't have.
Exactly.
He's got the Warwalkers in your backfield, too.
He does. And that's a little foreshadowing of the next turn. I'm just trying to be more creative as an editor. So now we're going back to the second phase. We're going to try to get these shrouds off. And I think we're going to get them both off because he's waiting for my invisibility. But I'm hitting him with some secret tech here. I'm doing the 1 die roll Terrify to see if I can draw a dice out, which I did. And then the 1 die roll Dominate to see if I can draw a dice out, which is scary to right now because he has to take a -1 leadership check every turn.
Look at those 6s.
Should have been rolling long war dice,
So
dog.
he saved all his dice for this, but I did get a peril. So
Oh, you got like 7 6s in it. Oh,
So-
no. You rolled a 1 on the perils.
But
You passed your leadership.
So no problem here. Passed my leadership check, and I got to take a grounding check, and I failed.
no.
So obviously rolled a wound my Be'lakor real quick. Anything but a 1. Of course I'm wounded, but no big deal. Got to make a 4 invulnerable right here.
Good to go. No.
So this is
down on turn 2. In
This is
your
when
face.
Be'lakor had realized he had fucked up.
Yo,
Yo.
players.
So I'm gonna come back though here with 3 successful charges. I'm gonna take out these jet bikes with that Mauler Fiend because they got a bad assault move. I'm gonna crash into this Guardian squad with these spawn, check them out, and those flesh hounds are crashing into Eldred and those DK.
Oh, and the battery. Yep.
Yep. So this is regardless of losing 350 point Be'lakor, I am gonna get Warlord in return, and I'm gonna take out one of those ridiculous Eldar jet bike units.
Oh, man.
Oh.
So that was really the tipping point there, but really you just kind of swung it back to par.
I would have felt a lot more comfortable with Warlord and First Blood, but in this mission, the secondary that's
Secondaries.
weighted is actually escalation.
Yeah.
So, which is do kill Lords of War or do 3 wounds to them, is what they call it in this. So you get 3 points for holding
Through nutrition. Yes, absolutely.
3 points for holding the base objective, 2 for holding the center objective, and you get 2 points for every 3 whole points or wounds you do to a Lord of War. And so I'm like forced to have to do wounds to Avatar.
Oh, there's that.
Okay, so now this is the
Punter.
the Warp Hunter doing his work.
Yep, I got lucky. It scattered too far. He couldn't walk
Yeah,
him back. And so also I blocked his guide. I did not want him to twin link it.
That seems important.
Very
that thing will end that whole squad.
Real
inside
quick,
that
Kenny,
building.
how clutch was it for you that his Warwalkers actually came in on turn 2 and didn't get dragged out, so you can move your Mauler Fiend?
Yes, it's now I know where that reserve unit came in, so now I can start making some moves.
Would you agree some people are like, oh, let's keep your reserves off so I don't have to deal with them? But in a situation, I feel like with you, because your models are so fast, you want those models on as soon as possible so you can see the
React.
threats where you need to be.
If it's a linear reserve roll, like just from across the table, I'd rather see them now. Or I mean, I don't care how long it takes to come in, But if they're outflanking units, you gotta know soon. And so this is important. My mutation on the spawn.
Yeah, you're
is
charging the
poison.
Avatar.
He charged me. So I got lucky and got the poison and was able to do 2 wounds to him. So now I'm happy because I'm like, if I can do 1 more wound to this avatar, I just got 2 points on attrition.
Yeah, because he's a Lord of War.
Yes, so like if I can get 1 more wound on this avatar, I can actually recover from losing Be'lakor, losing First Blood, which is only worth 1 point in this mission.
Oh
Very
man,
important.
there's so much going on, and it's like in the backfield, in the front, in the left, and the right. There's so much. It's everywhere.
Turn 3. I know the Soul Grinder's got to be here. Where is he going?
Yet again, he did not come in.
Wow.
I would have loved to have him on because luckily those dogs are holding against that Wraith Knight. They're one of the only things that can hurt me. So if I had brought my Soul Grinder in this turn, I could have gotten a clutch charge off on something. So it's actually hurting me bad. But I am, getting. I did take a Perils Wounds here on one of my sorcerers, but I am getting my shrouds off again. Keeping the shroud bubbles on is what's completely discouraging from shooting the backfields, and it's kind of picking his targets for him, like these green cultists right here. He's like, well, this is going to be my only target, so let me go after these. This Malafine right here is going to be free to charge something this turn because the avatar is still, the Wraith Lord is locked in close combat, or Wraith Knight. So this is an important turn. This is the last turn that he gets to shoot that Warp Hunter, basically.
Wow. It's not looking good for that Warp Hunter dog.
Just doing a little shuffle there. I know you don't get a consolidation move, but I was like, do you mind if I just do a shuffle for the camera? My murder shuffle. So so yet again, got lucky, and I think I did the poison result here in Avatar again. Look at all those 5s that hit. Oof. And I did enough wounds that he takes another wound, scored my attrition point right there. It's
so hard to even damage the Avatar, but you had like the exact tools to do it.
Yep. And so mutation, random mutations, and everything came in clutch here. But unfortunately, I did fail that clutch charge on the Warwalkers in my spawn. So pulling my spawn back that turn.
Oh no!
Was a wasted 12
failed
inches.
That charge.
Yep. That was a waste of a turn.
Wasted turn. So obviously he's gonna adjust. He's like, I need to get out of combat. This avatar needs to not be locked up in this combat. He's sending in his guardians. He's gonna do as many wounds as he can in my spawn to get out.
Smart.
He's gonna obviously send that Wraith Lord in. But actually, he can't because 1 dog is still alive on 1 wound.
Oh no!
Rolled super low on the demonic instability, so he's still locked a turn. And that, I'm telling you right now, if that avatar had gotten out that turn and moved 12 inches back to my army, I don't know how I could deal with it.
Yeah, because basically that's what the Soul Grinder's there for in your solid list.
Still isn't in.
Exactly. I'm still not in, and so all you can do is make decisions. The best decision at the time. I moved the spawn up because I thought that was the best decision. I moved that Malafine there because it was the best decision. Not getting my Soul Grinder in, I don't get to choose if that happens. So I just have to make decisions based on it. So now he's trying to take shots at my objective secure units.
Yeah, you're upset.
And he's realizing he can't really mess with those cultists too much back there because he's already lost all his avenues of line of sight. So now he's gonna start picking on the green ones right here.
Makes sense.
That's his biggest threat as of right now, which is so crazy to think because of the spawn, the Mauler Fiends, the everything else. It's crazy to think that a 40-point unit cultist unit is the biggest threat in his army.
Well, he has the advantage because he's going second, so he can just shoot them jet bikes up. So he has to kill. He has to deal with your cultists.
He's got to deal with them if he's gonna send those jet bikes in 50 inches to that objective. There cannot be objective secure units at. Because he's already realized that attrition has scored me the 2 points that I need to be ahead still. So if we both hold our bases and the center is contested, I'm going to win. He has to now take the center.
So true. So, oh man, he's trying to get every last one there and force a check, which he'll probably fail.
And these guys get like the super battle focus move. So like he's moving them up now, and then he's going to shoot them so he gets the whole unit in range.
How crazy is that? So that means literally his whole army gets to move 12 inches before it shoots.
Yep.
So minimum. So he's got the movie phase, the assaulty phase, the shooty phase, the movie vacuum phase.
Yeah.
The assaulty movie phase.
It's very engaging army, on his part.
And it's not overpowered too. Like somebody sees this, they're not going to be butthurt.
No, Kenny.
Super on the defensive.
Real quick, and the least amount of words possible because I know how fast this is going. But look, you're playing against an army that does the movement phase, the shooting phase, the movement phase, the psychic phase, the movement phase, the more shooting, the movement phase, the assault phase. How do you counteract that in a tournament 2.5 hours?
Yeah, you have to really manage the clock. You have to keep paying attention to your turns, and that's why I've always been a preacher of. I play armies that only need about 15 minutes a turn, because I can never count on my opponents taking less than 20 minutes a turn. So that's kind of one of the ways I've always counteracted it is clock management through speed of play on my side.
Absolutely. Now, let me just tell you what, Charlie is as stand-up of a guy and as quality of an individual as that you'll ever play. I know him personally, great guy, but everybody is not that kind of person.
No.
Wow, the Soul Grinder finally decided to show up. It is turn 4.
No, it's there.
Yeah, there it is.
No, there he is.
He's deep striking. I'm deciding where I want to deep strike him because now I just have to say, you know what? I need to keep his avatar and his Wraith Knight from going to the center this turn because I have to start making plays to the center of the table. And I have tools to deal with Eldar jet bikes. And I'm waiting for him, to make to see my tool on turn 5 because this is turn 4, so I have to set up for it. It's the fabled wagon wheel formation that you used to have to do back in the day when everything scored and basically everything was objective secure because it didn't matter,
Yeah, and it's a great thing too is that because that is the downfall about going first. Everybody sees going first is such a great thing and you get the first choice and this. No, to be honest, going first, you know what that means? You have to start thinking that the game is going to end on turn 4.
Yeah.
You have to start putting yourself in positions to win the game from turns 4 and on, especially when you're in tournament setting where there's a 2.5 hour charge.
Let me just interrupt right there. That failed that 9-inch charge for the Malafine to those Eldar jet bikes. 9 inches with fleet is something.
It's about average.
It's about average, and if I had gotten it, I would have done a lot better because I would have taken out one of those OBJ units. Malafine is dead in the wind, just chilling right there. You know.
No, I agree with what Juice was saying, though. You basically put yourself on a quicker clock by going first or by being...
Yes.
But that's your tactics, so you're cool.
Yep. So now he's bringing those Warwalkers in to distract me back there on that objective, where I have an Imperial bunker back there with 1 Void Shield with 11 Horrors in it. So he's dropped the shields. He's trying to plink shots at my Malafines through those windows with 4 bright lances.
So did he decide to keep the Wraith Knight in the back there to deal with the Soul Grinder?
Yes, because it's literally one of 2 things in his whole army that can actually interact with it, and it's
it's armor 13.
Yep, and he has only 2 objective secure units, and he needs them both to make a play in the center,
which will get got if he doesn't deal with him.
Exactly.
Man. Now, have you at this point in time been able to do any wounds to the Wraith Knight?
I've completely ignored him. He put invisibility on turn 1. He's stuffing this 8. I have limited options at this point, so I've put all resources into pretending he doesn't exist.
Absolutely. So you've got a full of Wraith Knight against a full of Soul Grinder. I don't know who I like the odds on over under on either one.
If he doesn't roll well and he doesn't put an impact wound on it, I might survive. But he's already done 1 whole point to it.
Yeah, average money's on Wraith Knight.
He shot at it with something that can wound it and put a wound on it. Oh no, sorry, he shot an Eldar missile launcher at it from those free.
They're strength 7.
They're strength 8.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Wow.
And so he's able to put a whole point on it, so that I'm like, I'm not going to survive now. So he's making his plays, he's keeping his models, and in my opinion, he's been a little too conservative with the jet bikes right here, because I've already scared him with my threat. I feel like he should have moved them a lot closer to me for the end game.
Okay, so this is your turn 5. You get a chance to be the one that strikes first. How do you feel going into turn 5?
I know that I can wagon wheel this center objective with these spawn, and I can bring this objective secure unit in the center. And as long as I get some shrouds up and my Conqueror, even if I don't with Conqueror City and go on the ground, he's going to not be able to do. It's basically a 50-point unit that has Terminator armor.
Kenny, at this point in time, have you checked the clock? Where are we at time-wise?
I think right now we've decided at the end of this game, at the end of turn 5, we have 15 minutes left.
Okay, so you're checking the clock the whole time. Everything else, you know what you have to be done. You go ahead, move your models, push it on to the next turn.
Yes, and we absolutely. We both are seasoned tournament players. We both know we can get out turn 6 in with 15 minutes.
And obviously from what it seems like to me, because of the wagon wheel and everything else, it is most advantageous for you to potentially slow play this. Make sure the game would end on turn 5.
Absolutely. If and that's what we were talking about with bringing hobby back. The parameters of victory, if the parameters of victory have no hobby score in it, it does tempt people to do that.
Absolutely. So real quick, let's talk about what just happened here.
So I have an incursion on those horrors, and they were able to send a screamer unit back for Linebreaker in case the game ends. So in case he does the unthinkable, I would still be ahead by 1 point if I can get a 1-point Linebreaker, and he gets 2 points on that center objective.
So I love it. Even though the game is being won and lost by the center objectives, you're already slingshotting, thinking of all the points that you can grab to look at the overall score instead of being narrow-sighted just for the center objective.
Absolutely. You always got to think about that. You always got to think about the tools. That's why I say combos are important. So you'll notice too, those horrors have gotten out of the bunker and they wagon wheeled that objective.
Yeah.
So you can see those Eldar jet bikes with like basically 50-inch move cannot actually get into that objective.
Kenny, I just want to go back to one other thing. I just want to commend you on how great of a tournament player you are. It is tough for me to think that I wouldn't take those screamers and double, triple bubble wrap the center just to ensure that he didn't. But you, as being such a great player, you're like, no, I have to have line breaker. So let me leapfrog that right there. Great job.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I've been playing the Chaos Army line, and something that Charlie commented on. He's like, you absolutely know what you're doing every turn with your army. Like you don't sit there and think about things like, and he's like, but you make me think about things. It's like, that's the way I've chosen to play Chaos, is I present people with challenges and multiple decisions every turn, and that increases the likelihood they're going to make the wrong decision.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what happens when you play. This is something that you don't live around and start leapfrogging around with lists. You know your list, you know what's going on, we've got some stomps here. Is that a 6?
He did. He took out one of my sorcerers. That was a 9-inch charge for the Wraith Knight.
Gosh, a stomp on a 6.
And you can see
charge is like long, super long for something without fleet.
Yep.
And you got one of your sorcerers.
And you can see here, this is almost an auto lose now. He has destroyed the wagon wheel with that 9-inch charge. And I have no way to keep out his Eldar jet bikes. So I'm pulling back the screamers to engage the Wraith Knight so he doesn't break free of that combat and charge me again. And now I'm summoning with that sorcerer who had a pocket summon that I always keep one sorcerer with. And he's bringing in the best unit for objectives, the Demonettes right now. That's 10 models that get that fleet and add 3 inches to the run roll right here.
So I love the re-roll, and you got a 5, so that's an 8-inch run.
Yep. So they basically get to reestablish the wagon wheel. He's going to kill the screamers. He's trying to walk the stomp. He is unable to kill out that objective secure unit. And I'm able to hold him there, jam it up right there, and keep the wagon wheel alive. And I still have like 3 or 2 cultists attached to that warlord inside of there being objective secure.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there was existing models there already.
Yep. But he was trying to be clutch. He was walking the stomp over to them instead of taking that spawn out. He was walking the stomp over there.
Trying to get to the objective secure unit. I can't get mad at him at all with that because he doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't know what's going to happen in the future. You're really trying to go, let's kill this one cultist.
And there's actually 2 wounds left on that spawn in the combat, so he figured that was his best.
Yeah, and you don't need a 6 to kill a cultist. A straight 6 wound will kill a cultist all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
And yet again, so here it is. He made the charge. He was unable to get those assault moves on the jet bikes in there. And so that went really quick. So the Avatar got in there, was unable to finish it off. So he couldn't clear it out for the Eldar jet bikes to make it to the center.
Wait a second,
Super
are you
cultist.
killing me that this single cultist, the most thug life cultist there is, staring down the Avatar who has walked through almost half the army, and a Wraith Knight was able to hold strong and continue the game?
Made a leadership 7 leadership check, stood there within 3 inches, kept him jammed up with those 3 surviving demonettes, as you can see, unable to get the Eldar assault moves far enough. He needed like 10 inches on both.
Well, Kenny, I'm happy to say that with this victory, that moves you on to round 2 in the winner's bracket to, spoiler alert, we don't know who you're going to play. Can't wait to let everybody know.